Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet. We are going to be casting a Masters League game between two masterfully gaming people. Down the bottom left side, we do have our red Protoss player. His name is AriA. He is going to be in Masters League, and he is a very, 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 very formidable opponent. Down the bottom right side, we do have our blue Terran player, HTOMario. We have cast a few games of him, and he did quite well in most of them, or some of them. I really can't remember which, but he is going to be our blue Terran player. He with the skull in front of his command center, which looks pretty groovy. And there we go. This looks like a Terminator sort of thing going on. Doesn't that look like a Terminator sort of thing? Except Terminator skulls aren't usually, they don't really have facial expressions. They don't usually get scared or anything like that. They're just completely stiff and unsmiling, and just look like you can bash them in the face with a rock and they probably wouldn't move, which they probably wouldn't. And this guy is just going through a sort of moon sort of thing going on, so that's probably one of the default ones. So he's not scary Terminator face, but he doesn't need to be, because he can do the damage that he needs to do without having to resort to scaring his opponent with flashy thingamybobs on his base. Although I suppose by the time the Terran player actually sees this, he would be so close he'd basically be wiping everything out, so it's not really going to do much at that point anyway. We've got a gateway, we've got a simulator going on, we've got pretty much the same thing from the Terran player. So they're both players going absolutely nuts on workers at the moment, which at the 2.5 minute of the game is exactly what you should be doing. If you're not going on nuts on workers at the 2.5 minute mark of the game, I forgot to mention this guy's in Masters too. So they're both Masters players. It is a Masters League game, and they're doing very well because they are in Masters League, or maybe they're in Masters League because they do very well. I don't know which one it is, and I'm hoping you guys don't either. But here we go. There's not much to look at, so we're just going to be looking at. Look, I love how that radar just goes up through the middle of the building. I mean, you got to give Blizzard some, credit for making this cool animation. But when you look really closely at it, there's some very, very heavy flaws in their entire build scenario. I mean, they should have a little guy in an overall or something like that crawl up on the side of it and just sort of haul up an antenna with a radar dish with a crane or something like that. And it would be a lot more realistic, but instead they just went for the thing comes out of nowhere sort of thing and goes through everything else. And I mean, alright, the rest of the game is absolutely brilliant, but I mean, they could do it better if they really wanted to. And I'm just saying they could do it. They could have done it a little bit more believable for that particular part of the orbital command going up thing. I mean, maybe nobody's noticed till now, but I mean, I've noticed it now. You guys watching the video, you've all noticed it now. He's trying to get a bunker. That Stalker is just going to shut that shit down straight away. I don't think he was expecting a Stalker to come out, but there it is. There's a Stalker out there. He's not even going to cancel it until the very last second. He's just going to say, screw you guys, waste your time. Of course he's slowing down the expansion, but he expects the cancel to come down any second here. He's got it selected, and there we go, cancelled it. Gets 94 minerals back, so that's a pretty good deal. I don't know how much they cost. Maybe 100 minerals, maybe 125. But yeah, definitely getting that cancel off. Very nice timing there. Robo facility coming down, and that was my dinner in the background. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but I could definitely hear it. We're actually going in one gate off of a robo. Sorry, not one gate and then into a robo, so one robo off of just one warp gate. He's building up another gateway somewhere. Please tell me it's not this one. Where is this other gateway? He's building one, he's building two, I know he is. There he goes, there's the other one. It's right there, it's all blue and shiny under the blue and shiny mothership core, so that's why I didn't see it. So yeah, he gets the sentries out nice and early, and that's good because it allows him to charge up the energy, so he's got lots of force field use when the rest of the army starts coming up. Couple of Hellions coming out there. Hellions, we'll see what they can do. They're not usually able to do that much versus Protoss, because Stalkers just shut them down, but they are going to run past. Beautiful force field there. That's used up all his energy at the moment. He's just going to try and do a quick run around. and see if he can get back in there. And look at that timing, man. That is why these guys are in Masters League, man. They know what the going on is. Of course, he's not going to actually be able to kill any workers because he lost too much health there with the Stalkers and the Sentry and all that sort of stuff. But I gotta say, brilliant play there, getting in just as the force field finished. And of course, brilliant play from getting the force field down in the first place. But he did sacrifice 2 Hellions, didn't really get much out of it. He got a scout off, he saw the Robo Bay and the 3 Warp Gates, and he did waste a bit of the Sentry's energy. I'm going to say it's probably not worth it, but if this guy hadn't built a Sentry, then there might have been quite a few workers dead back at the main base. So, still worth a try there. Terran player, he's getting this thing into an orbital. There we go, we can watch this horrible animation once again. Things going inside other things when they shouldn't be. If you're into any sort of video games development, that's called blocking or some sort of, it's not, I don't know what it's called actually. I barely passed my video games unit when I went to uni, but there we go. Things should not intersect with other things. You cannot throw a ball and watch it go through a wall, because that is just not very good video game mechanics. But we are letting Blizzard get away with this travesty because it's the 1% of the game versus the 99% of the game, which is just completely awesome. And speaking of awesome, actually no, these guys are going to run. Once the Nexus got overcharged, the Hellions are just like, you know, whatever, we're out of here. And I think they killed 1 worker, which is, you know, it's better than nothing. Better than getting kneed in the balls, almost certainly. But there we go, 3 more Hellions, so maybe they're going to go in and out and all over the place. But if these 4 Stalkers and the Sentry here, Sentry's finally getting some energy back. I'm surprised he hasn't built more Sentries actually. I mean, just 1 Sentry, it's not a lot. Here we go, so he's going to go for a double-pronged attack, up the top, down the bottom. He's going to send 1 force in a little bit earlier to draw these forces down. But he'll have to be very crafty to do it, because I think these guys can, there we go, the Nexus is no longer charged up. Mothership Core might not be able to charge up straight away. Is it going to be enough of a harass to pull these units down? It doesn't look like it is. It doesn't look like they're going to take the bait. The Hellions can't see up there, of course, but he's going to go in. He's going to take a chance, and he is going to get screwed because, oh, look at that, man. Absolutely trapped. Unfortunately, he's trapped near the workers, though, so he is going to get off a couple of kills there. Maybe 2 or 3 kills. One observer just chilling out here. The Terran player can't really do much about it. Actually, these supply depots, man, they got little radar dishes on them. Why do they not detect cloaked units, man? What is the point of that radar dish if not for detecting cloaked units, man? I do not understand these things. Dark Templar coming in here. The coverage for the Terran player in terms of missile turrets is completely non-existent. Does he have an NG bay? He's going for heavy mech, which means it is fairly conceivable. There he goes, he does have 1 NG bay. He's going for a missile turret as well. They must have seen the Dark Shrine. If we have a look at the scouting, he hasn't seen the Dark Shrine, but he is going to go in with a bunch of Hellions. They might have. No, they haven't quite seen the Dark Shrine. They are going to see a few workers get fried, though. And there we go, jumping in. Oh, he's seen the Dark Shrine now. He knows about the Dark Shrine now. I would not be surprised to see him get a few more missile turrets out all over the place. There we go, the medevac gets taken out. The Hellion's going to roast a few more workers, but not too many. If we have a look at the units lost, Protoss player has lost 25, and he hasn't really lost any actual attacking units, all that much. So most of those are probably workers. And that is very good for the Terran player, because I think the Protoss was a little bit ahead of economy. He got his base out a bit earlier. And the Terran player has definitely evened it up now. We've got our 1 missile turret here. And these Dark Templars not going to be able to move in and take this base out. But that's not their plan. They're just going to snipe the workers who try and build the expansions. And it's probably not going to make it worth their while. But, I mean, they can also scout the army as they go out. So you can always morph them into an Archon later on, or do some DT harass later on if you want. Look at this missile turret getting built. He is, I wouldn't mind seeing this Dark Templar just go out there, and there it goes. Goodbye, Mr. SCV. He's going to take out the missile turret while he's there, and the Terran player's like, actually, maybe it's not such a good idea to land that over there. He's going to get a scan come down. That guy's going to get taken out. He didn't even waste a scan, man. He did a very, very neat Hellion trick, which we'll go have a look at after these guys are dead. Basically, he knew where it was. He could see the shiny thing. He put 2 Hellions opposite it, and then he had them attack each other, and the flame damage in between them just roasted the Dark Templar, man. And, of course, he had a Raven, so that was, he didn't really need to do that with the Hellions, but he probably wanted to get out there and kill them as soon as possible. Oh, look at that. Seeker missile on the Observer. It can't run very fast. It doesn't have very much health. And he just got owned, man. Absolutely owned. Raven Bomb versus the Observer, man. There's no way the Observer can get away from that. There's no way it can survive even the splash damage. So that is just like an Observer's worst nightmare. Raven Bombs, man. That's like the boogeyman in the closet for a bloody Observer, man. And here comes another Observer, and he's going to keep well back because he does not want that shit to happen to him. Meanwhile, what have we got going on? We've got a 3rd base for the Protoss, we've got a 3rd base for the Terran, we've got Colossus tech coming out, lots of upgrades, an Immortal coming out as well, a few cannons. This army is starting to look pretty sweet. They've got one weapons and 2 armor. It's interesting he's actually gone for the armor upgrades before the weapons, but we do have these Templars. They have got Psionic Storm going on, so that's pretty sweet. We've got a very heavy mech army. Look at that, 2 more factories coming down. In terms of the upgrades, what have these guys got? Just 1 weapons, no armor. It's got a lot of tanks, and they are going to be very good at dealing with this army. Not so much fodder in the middle, but the Hellions, if he manages to keep them alive, they should be able to provide some interference if they get back in time, which I'm not sure they will. With Blink on the way, once Blink finishes, these Stalkers will just own these tanks so badly it's not even funny. Hey, that poor Observer, man. He just got completely smacked around the face. It's just really, really bad. And the bad thing about losing Observers is not so much that they're expensive, because they're not, but that you have to build more, and time spent building an Observer is time that you could have been building an Immortal or a Colossus, which is always a pain in the ass. They don't take a huge amount of time to build, but when you've only got 2 Robo Bays or 1 Robo Bay, you want to be producing Colossus full time, and it's very, very painful to have to go ahead and just rebuild an Observer. 2 Immortals here. I don't know if they're waiting for the Hellions, but they're going to do a fantastic job. And the Hellions, man, doing a phenomenal job of out-microwing those bloody SCVs, or these workers, or whatever the hell they're called. The pros ran away, but they were too slow. The Hellions went all the way around and cut them off, and oh man, that was just horrible. Scouting barracks over here. He's obviously not going for any sort of marine push whatsoever. He is going for a crap load of barracks though, and he is really, really pushing those Hellion numbers, man. He really, really likes the Hellions. He actually likes blocking himself in there as well. That's not going to be quite a lot of fun. There we go. Going to knock out these walls. Going to get another expansion. This expansion is going to be relatively safe. Protoss player not going for a lot of air at this stage. I don't even know if he has a starport. Doesn't look like he does. So that should be fine. And this army is going to move out. They're going to roast this Zealot. The Zealot probably thought he was alright, you know. Probably thought he was doing pretty decent. But this army has proven him wrong. And this is a massive amount of tanks. This is going to do very, very well against this ground army. So I think the Terran possibly has the advantage. But then again, Protoss, the upgrades are so big. I don't know. I can't say who will win this battle. It depends on if they get through the Hellions and manage to hit the tanks directly. If they manage to do that, then they should be fine. But here the Hellions, they're not going to last very long, but they're going to buy valuable time for the tanks to do some hits. And this army got beat up quite heavily from that Terran force, man. And look at that, he's just building Hellions all over the place. They're a very disposable force. When they're Hellbats, they last a little bit longer, but you can see they still went down within seconds to this very, very heavy, very, very scary Protoss army. But they bought time, and time is what you need when you have siege tanks, because they're slow, but man, do they pack a punch. And he probably got off like 3 or 4 volleys with the siege tanks while those Hellions are dying, and that just really, really did some damage to the Protoss player. So he's looking to get a flank here, but oh, he is going to get This is the Valley of Death right now. He's got tanks over there. He's got tanks over there. He does not want to go up that gap. He gets hit from both sides. That is a very, very bad idea. So he might have to go this. This would be a great approach. Look at this beautiful smoke here, man. He goes in through there. He gets some sort of air unit. Just comes out here a little bit. And suddenly the Colossus, even the Stalkers, get hit from behind that smoke, man. That's an awesome approach. I'd love to see him use that approach. Of course, all it takes is a scan down here and the tanks go nuts, but a little bit of work in there could be all he needs. Is the army coming down? He's finally putting those Dark Templar to good use. But it looks like they are going to get wiped out eventually. Tank's going to come down with a bit of a scan. He is building tanks like there's no tomorrow. He's almost maxed out. The Protoss is also almost maxed out. He's really getting the army out. He's getting a couple of Archons, a massive amount of Colossus, now with 3/3 and 1 armor. Terran player, man, what's he doing? He's got 2 weapons, no armor. He's got a very nice army, but he really needs to push those upgrades. There he goes. He's going 2 at once. So this is the yeah, so it is correct. I was correct before in the previous game when I was confused about that. So it is armor, does affect vehicles and weapons. And there we go. Here's a push. He's got a very large Colossus force. He's got Blink Stalkers, and he's got to push in. And without those front runners coming in there to sort of protect the siege tank line, to provide a buffer zone, that massive amount of Colossus, man, just going to go in, just going to do so much damage. He's wiped out a lot of the ground forces with that massive amount of siege tanks, but the Colossus were just too much. He didn't have the buffer zone of Hellions, and this is just going to be very, very bad. These Colossus are down a lot of health though, so we'll see what the Terran can pull out. He's switching into Vikings, which is a very good idea, and he's but he's lost so many tanks there. I think he is in quite a lot of trouble here. He's probably gonna, or he's almost certainly gonna lose this base. He might be able to defend the next base if he gets some guys over there, but he might lose it as well because he is just in so much trouble at the moment. He really, without that buffer zone to protect his tanks, he just got completely owned. The Colossus went in there, they just did so much damage, and they had so much health the tanks could not take him down fast enough. He's going to pull back a bit now, let the Terran player lick his wounds, which I'm not sure is an excellent idea, but he's getting some reinforcements now, so hopefully he gets these Archons and just moves in straight away, because he really, really needs to keep the pressure on while the Terran player is behind. There is nothing worse that he can do than let the Terran player have time to build up, because the Protoss player, he's maxed out. He can't produce a lot of units, so he's got to go in there and make a move and get some shit knocked out, because he's letting the Terran player build up, man. It's just not a good move. It's not a good move, and he's got his ton of Hellions there. They're not going to make the same mistake again, leaving the tanks out in the middle of the field. He's going to have more and more Vikings coming out, so the Terran player is slowly building up a great countering force, and the Protoss player is letting him do it at the moment. He's not pushing in as he should. He should push in. He should take him out. He should not let the Terran player have this much time. But he did, and he let him build up this many Vikings, and I believe that he might be in a lot of trouble right now. He did not have the anti-air forces to take out the Vikings, and the Colossus are going to do massive amounts of damage, but with no anti-air, they're all going to get wiped out. The Terran player still has his air army left, and I believe it's probably in the Terran's advantage right now. So, Protoss player, man, yeah, I gotta say, he dropped the ball there. He did not go in and push hard like he could have, and he lost all his Colossus because of that. When he finally went in, the Terran player was prepared, and yeah, now it's the Terran player's field. The Terran player is going to have to take this army advantage that he's got now, and he's going to have to do something with it. He is going to have to say, well, the Protoss made a mistake. Am I going to make the exact same mistake? And right now, he's not pushing out. He doesn't have a massive ground army. He lost his entire ground army, but he's getting them up again. He's got the army advantage. When he maxes out, he needs to push in very, very quickly. He needs to do some damage, and I'd like to see him get maxed out very, very soon. He's at a little bit of a disadvantage. Well, not really at a disadvantage in terms of the bases. He's got 5. The Protoss player has 5, so he's not at a massive disadvantage. But here we go. He's going to try and start to move out. He's got a large amount of Vikings. Protoss player continuing to move to make a lot of Colossus. Terran player doesn't know, he's continuing to go for Colossus. But if he did know, I would say that he would go in as fast as he possibly can, because these forces are just going to get wiped out pretty hard. I don't know, the Archons, they could do a lot of damage versus the Vikings, but I still think the Terran player has the advantage. However, he needs to go in. He needs to make that advantage do something useful. He needs to go in. He needs to try and snipe this base. There he goes. He's scanned this base. He's going to send some Hellions in there. There's a cannon, but the cannon is not near the workers, so this should be able to do some good damage. The Protoss player saw the scan. He's going to send his army up there. It was a nice bit of attack, but I think he should have gone in a bit stronger there. Really wiped out the base. He really needs to start taking shit out, man. He's not doing it. And he's letting the Protoss player catch up, and I'm not sure why he is doing that. Maybe he's waiting for these last bit of forces to come out. But once you hit a max army, here's a tip from Hairy Muppet. If you reach a max army, do not sit back in your base and wait for the enemy to come to you. When you reach a max army, you go out there, you do some damage. If you lose your army, that's fine. But if you're at a max army and they're not, chances are you've got a better economy than they are. You can build up losses faster than they can. And if you've got a bigger army than they have, they will take more losses than you do, simply because your force is more overwhelming. And that's all there is to it. I mean, you may lose a large amount of forces, but if they lose more than you, and you can build up forces quicker, then eventually you will win the game. But when you've got a max army, do not just sit back. Go in there, start making some damage. I know you're saving up minerals now, and that's fine, but you're giving your opponent the opportunity to go out there and start doing some stuff. You're giving him some free reign to go out there, get expansions and all that sort of shit. This is a nice attack. Very nice approach over this thing. The Protoss was not expecting it. He did not know how to react to it straight away, and that was bad for him. And now we've got a beautiful siege tank line in here. He's got to get the scan. The Protoss player is going to have to back out, and he can probably edge in a little bit at a time, and try and knock this base out. There we go. The Archon's coming in here. The Viking's going to hit the Colossus. The siege tank's going to hit the Archons. I'm not sure. There he goes. The Vikings took a bit of damage, but oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about landing those Vikings, man. I think that was a very, very bad idea. Had a massive amount of Immortals on the ground, and I understand that the Immortals were going to take out all the tanks, wipe them out, and that was going to be bad. You're going to lose all your tanks. But Vikings, man, they did not help the situation at all. They landed and they died. And the tanks, I think at that stage, the tanks were going down no matter what. He did not expect that many Immortals. He did not expect the Zealots coming in from the back. And his tanks are already dead. But landing the Vikings, man, not a good move. He should have just run with them. He should have just assessed the situation, say, alright, my tanks are dead. Screw it, Vikings, just get out of there. Or maybe he wanted the supply for battle cruisers. He is going battle cruisers. That should be fairly sweet. They are faster than they are in Wings of Liberty, and they should be an excellent counter. These High Templar, though, that's an interesting choice. High Templar, man. If the battle cruisers mosey around for too long, if they sit on their asses and build up their own energy, then feedback from the High Templar, man, is going to do some crazy damage. Crazy damage to the battle cruisers, man. I think they've got like, where are the battle cruisers, man? Where are these battle cruisers? So that can do 200 out of 550, so that's about a third of their total health, just over a third, gone in one shot from a High Templar if they're not careful. Hellions, I'm not sure about the Hellion push here, man. I'm not sure going Hellions is going to be a very good idea versus the Immortals, man, because you are going to get owned all over the face, man. I swear to God. I don't think these units are light. The Immortals definitely aren't light. I'm pretty sure the Archons aren't. And you see this Archon, man, they just last so long. He has got to be freeing up supply there. He's got to have been freeing up supply. That's what he's doing, because you can see he's already up there. He's going for a massive fleet of battle cruisers. He wants all the supply he can. Here he goes, a last set of Hellions. They're going to try and take some workers out. Good on them. They're going to get in a good position, but in the end, these are just trying to sacrifice them to allow the supply for the bloody battle cruisers, man. And there we go. Supply is freed up. These two Hellions, they're still going. They're like, we're trying to die. I'm sorry, but we're trying to die. But, you know, the enemy is just so retarded. He's actually building more Hellions. I'm not sure why he's doing that. I thought he was freeing these guys up for supply, and yet he's building more. So maybe he likes the harass. He's going to keep going in there. He's going to keep doing the harass. I think he just mainly wants the Protoss not to go in and attack him while he's building up his battlecruiser force. He's using these as a way of just saying, you know, please don't attack me. Please keep running around chasing these Hellions. He is getting a lot of nice drone hits though. He's getting a lot of nice worker attacks. And look at this. His workers for the Protoss player, 20 below the Terran player. So these Hellions, man, he's really doing a good job with them. The 3 attack, 3 armor, and blue flame is probably not doing bad as well. Here come a few more Hellions, man. As soon as the Protoss moves out, man, and here we go. He's preempted this. He's got some Immortals in the mineral line. That's very good. Here we go. These guys are just going to wipe out this army. But Archons and Stalkers, man, I don't think these are going to be enough to ward off the battlecruiser push, man. And here we go. Yamato cannons, man. Yamato cannons, man. He's got to wipe out the Archons and the Stalkers. And he is going to do that, man. And the Immortals are just like, well, screw this action. We got to go over. We got to start taking some stuff out because we can't hit battlecruisers. And there we go. Protoss going for tons of Archons. I'm not sure Archons are really the answer though, but he doesn't have the production facilities to build Void Rays, and he doesn't have the production facilities to build Tempest. Tempest, the ultimate counter to battlecruisers. Void Rays are also, I would say they're the ultimate counter if it wasn't for Tempest, but Void Rays should be able to do an extremely good job against battlecruisers, but he doesn't have the production facilities, man. He's going to have to rely on Stalkers and Archons. I don't think he has the minerals to start building Stargates all over the place, so he's going to have to rely on his ground forces. He's got as good a force as he can, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, man. Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be enough. The tech switch in the battlecruisers caught him by surprise. Yeah, he's going to be having a lot of trouble here. You can see the feedback's coming down. You can also see the Yamato cannons coming down. Really just wiping out the force. The battlecruisers are so beefy. They have so much health. I don't think a single one has died yet. One's about to die. There it goes. But the Protoss player, man, he does not have an answer for this huge battlecruiser army. His answer is in air forces, and he does not have any Stargates. Let's have a look. Does he have? He does not have any Stargates at all. He has got no chance of countering this battlecruiser force, and as we can see, he did the GG there. He didn't actually GG, he just left the game in utter disgust at how quickly it had turned against him. And I gotta say here, brilliant use of Hellions by our Terran player. Not only did he wipe out a lot of workers over the entire game, but he kept the Protoss force from going in there and attacking his bases. And that's really, I mean, those Hellions bought him so much time. He did it beautifully. He went one there, then a minute later one there, then a minute later one there. Sending out a couple of forces at once. Hellions are so cheap, man, and they can cause so much havoc if you leave them alone with all the upgrades they had. And the Protoss player just could not move in while Hellions were constantly attacking him. Eventually, he pushed out to this base. He got his defenses in some sort of order, enough to actually push out, but by that time, it was just too late, man. The battlecruisers were all over the place, and just did not work. That major tech switch from tanks and Hellions into battlecruisers, man, that left the Terran player in a bad position, because that massive tech switch, man, it's so easy to go in there when the guy's in a tech switch, go in there and just start doing some massive damage, especially when you've got the same sort of army composition you've had for the entire game. But the Hellion Harassment kept the Protoss player chasing his own tail, stopped him from pushing out, and I think that's really what won him the game. The massive battlecruiser tech switch was just the icing on the cake. It was a beautiful counter move, but he needed time to make that counter, and that's what the Hellions did for him. They gave him the time he needed. And I gotta say, brilliant play there by HTOMario, and a very good play there as well by AriA. He had a great unit composition, but he had a bit of trouble with those Hellions, man. And he didn't push out when he really needed to, when the opportunity was there while the Terran was switching to battlecruisers. and he didn't push, and he was just caught totally by surprise by the tech switch into battle cruisers. Man, maybe he should have done a bit of scouting a little bit better in this sort of area, maybe to see the battle cruisers, but he didn't. And oh my god, when the battle cruisers finally came, man, he just rolled over. He had nothing at all to throw against him. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game. Battle cruisers, you don't see many games where battle cruisers just come out and just own everything all over the place in massive numbers, but here we are. It almost feels like a free-for-all game at the end of this, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you keep watching. Thank you very much. This has been Hairy Muppet.